Hello, and welcome back. It's been a minute since I last made a video, and it's definitely because, if you watched my last video, I started a new school, started a vocal course, moved to this village, Fränsta, where we are at the moment, as you can see in my surrounding. So I'm out on a little walk, and why I've been kind of missing, if anyone noticed, is because I just wanted to settle into the new things, get to know the people and get into the new routines. So I took a little step back, regained some energy, some inspiration, and now I'm back. And here we are. So life has been pretty good lately. It's a mixture because I like the school. I think it was definitely the right decision to start there, and I'm already learning super much. But it also takes a little bit getting used to that it's full time, because then it's Monday through Friday, it's lessons and school projects, which is great, but it also it gives me actually even less time to do my own things than before. And I think I'm trying to work around that, because mainly the other things I want to do is the vlogging and also writing music, because I'm studying a vocal course, so we don't do any songwriting in the classes or anything. So I'm trying to find some balance with those things and also have a life, feel the inner peace, And it's actually kind of related to the thing that I wanted to talk about today, because the topic I wanted to talk about is about balancing life quality with ambition. Because most of the times these two things, they really go hand in hand, because it's really nice to have a purpose, meaning and direction in life that you have from ambition. But then sometimes if you get super into the practical aspects of it, things making the right decisions on paper, being productive, you know what I mean, then sometimes we can get a bit lost from the initial purpose and the meaning behind it. And I definitely felt that, especially when I lived in Berlin, because I lived in Berlin for 5 years, and 3 of those years I did a songwriting degree, and it was a lot of fun also, but in general I just felt super disconnected from my creativity, and music, it just didn't feel fun. Everything felt hard, and everything I tried to do just felt like an uphill battle. And I definitely think it's because I did things from a lack energy, a desperate energy. I didn't write music, I didn't play with the band because I felt it was fun. I just felt I had to, because I had this goal of reaching success. So that sounds a bit sad, and I also knew already by then that this is not the way I want to live life, this is not the experience I want to have, because the reason why I'm dreaming of this music career is definitely because I love music and I love writing music and performing and everything. But I think it's really important to stay connected to this purpose, even if at times, maybe in periods, you have to be more practically focused, but to always keep the connection to this purpose. But it's not only about that, because it's also this whole thing of finding a healthy balance between the ambition and dreaming about the future, working for the future, but also living in the now. Because, for example, I also really felt like a victim back then when I was super hyper focused on making it career-wise, because I just felt as I said, nothing was fun, and then I felt I was forced to do this thing that I had set myself up to do, which is so weird, and I knew that I had no one to blame but myself. But it was just such a weird mental space to be in, and it's definitely a place that I'm trying to avoid as far as I can. But I think a way to get out from that is to actually get really clear about the intentions and the deeper feelings behind our goals. Because, for example, with my goal of becoming a successful artist and songwriter, it's essentially the dream of making it professionally. It's definitely because I want to have all the resources, I want to have the time and the space to create unlimited, to be free in my creative practice and just do that, not having a day job, not having to compromise it. So that's what it is about for me. And what I realized is that maybe the goal and that energy behind the goal can manifest and can come into life in different ways than we expected. And it's not to say that we should give up on our dreams or that we should aim lower, but I just think that we could maybe or I at least, I'm trying to open myself up to receive it and to, manifest it into my life in a different way than I expected. But I definitely believe we can create our dream reality in our current reality. And this by showing up as the person we imagine ourselves to be if we already had everything we wanted. To show up in that energy, do the same things. Maybe you can't go on a world tour if that's what you dream of, but maybe do some local gigs, post some video online, do it as far as you can. And by doing that, I really believe we can bring more of that energy into our current reality, and it's just gonna strengthen us and it's gonna expand, and then we're just gonna create that future. And it sounds a little bit cliche, the future is coming by doing it in the now, but I definitely think it's a good basic principle, and I really try to live by that. And the absolute biggest mindset shift I had is that I started to separate my artist identity from my career aspirations. Because in one way they go hand in hand, because the career aspirations, they come from this passion for music, but they're not intertwined. And I think I just need to separate it to be able to understand and to really grasp that I can be a thriving artist even if I don't make it professionally. And of course it's still a dream to make it professionally, but I can still appreciate music, I can still make music, play music, and it's not the end of the world if the rest of the world doesn't get that, or doesn't get me, And another thing I had to get a lot of new clarity about, that is also really intertwined with success and ambitions, is money. And this definitely goes hand in hand. I'm gonna talk about this, but now we got into this wind shed, and I also brought some coffee and cakes, so I'm gonna sit down and we're gonna continue talking about the money aspect of ambition. Okay, so we got some cake, we got some coffee, and we're ready to continue this conversation. Money. The thing is that ever since I was younger, I always kind of expected my professional career to end up in me getting rich. And I kind of hoped that it would come from music, but in other ways I kind of expected myself to get into another high-paying profession. And I don't know where I got this idea. I think I got it when I was in my early teens, because I had a period when I was 14 where I seriously thought, okay, I'm gonna become a lawyer, I'm gonna move to Stockholm, I'm gonna become rich, I'm gonna become posh and all that. Had this period for a year, studied super hard, became a total studying is everything. And then I started doing music, and I was okay, well, nope, I'm doing music instead. But ever since then I still had this idea of getting rich is the optimal goal of life. And I haven't, the only clarity about it I had was that I wanted to be able to, support myself, support the family, buy a house, buy gifts for all my friends. But in reality I don't even have that much material aspirations, because I'm not really a person who thrives from fancy things like cars and designer clothes. But still, I guess it's all about security, that I wanted to feel safe. And that's not weird, it's it's a total valid thing. But I'm also realizing that I am in a really comfortable position in comparison to other people in the world, because I live in Sweden and I have pretty stable healthcare, and for me it's not about being poor or not, it's more about being more or less comfortable. Because I could do some job that I did before, in hospitality or something, and I could make money and I could definitely survive for sure. But it's about being more or less comfortable, being stimulated, fulfilled or not. And but it's also freeing in a way, because then I know that I could definitely have a nice life even if I only made an average salary. because I never made more than the average salary. I only had like, entrance level jobs, minimum wage, but I've been able to have like nice experiences anyways and get nice things from time to time. And this by prioritizing and living cheap. And then, because I didn't have any huge expenses either, the rent in Berlin, okay, yeah, but except from that, not so much. So it's also freeing in a way, because it kind of puts this pressure off a little bit of this idea of me having to get rich to be happy and fulfilled. So it's nice, but it's like, this is definitely not a conversation to like put on new limiting beliefs around money or believing like being financially abundant is bad or anything. Because I definitely think that we should believe that everything is possible and that we can have things in abundance, and that, to not like put limitations on ourselves. But I also just think it's freeing in a way to detach myself from the outcome and to actually realizing that I will be fine no matter what. So definitely not to like put any shame on financial abundance and like putting limiting beliefs around money, because like that's something I'm really sick and tired of. People who are like super stuck in this one way to do it is the right way. You have to like get a stable like degree, stable work so you can save for retirement. Maybe you're dead before retirement, but you're still like, gone all in on this stable lifestyle, even if it's maybe not what you wanted. So in the end, I just guess it's about finding out the thing that's the most important for you. Because in my case, it's definitely about being free and being free in my creative practice and just feel like I'm in charge of my own life. Because I'm having a bit of a struggle with the whole thing of having a boss, having like a workplace where you're super controlled and expected to be there exactly these hours, do exactly these things. So I definitely know in life, whatever I do, I want to be more free and be able to like decide over my own work pace and workload a bit more, for sure. So a little like other rant. Oftentimes I'm such like a B plan strategist, because oftentimes I'm like thinking harder about the B plan than the A plan, because the A plan, it is still definitely to like follow my creative dreams of becoming an artist, a songwriter, and that whole thing. But I also have some B plans, and I've been even like planning a little bit for it. But I'm like, okay, well, no. I've heard this really good quote that says, where attention goes, energy flows. So if I want to like grow this thing that I'm actually dreaming of, I need to focus on that and not like be completely stuck up in thinking about like B plans and alternative routes. Because nope, not gonna lead me anywhere. I think I'm just gonna end up in basically the same place I am now if I just took like this detour of doing this degree that I'm thinking might be my B plan, but not really like trying and giving it my all to do music. But then I also think it's important to see your own limits when you have ambition, because I think in some ways maybe you need to compromise, because everything about following the dream won't be fun. It won't be like the best thing you experienced. Aspects like taxes and planning and budgeting and stuff like that can also be fun, I admit, but and it's always like downsides of things that you also have to do. But in general, if it feels like it's taking away more from life than it's bringing, and that's definitely what I felt back in Berlin, especially during my last year there, when I was like trying to work on this band. I tried to work on like this EP that I was releasing, and it was nice things, but I really wasn't in like the mental space. I didn't have like the capacity to enjoy it, to show up in the way I wanted to, because I was so disconnected from like the things I loved, the person I was, and just super caught up in all these limiting beliefs, super fear-driven. And then I really questioned, why am I even doing this? Like, what is the point? Because I just feel like I hate music. And that's when I did this whole process of taking a step back, moving back to Sweden, living in a small village, and totally reconnecting. And it's not that like I reached the end goal of that journey. I'm still like trying to find more clarity about what success means to me, what I want to do, and how I should do it. But I'm in a way better place, because I feel it's both like the thing with detaching from the outcome and being more open for the life experience, but also like just having fun with it and just, yeah, constantly updating the clarity and constantly like channeling in on into your own brain. And the best way to do that is definitely journaling. Journaling has definitely changed my life. I journal almost every day. It just feels like I'm completely going out on a tangent here. But everything is related. I feel like I have a lot to say about this. But I hope this conversation was interesting for you. And I also hope it was relatable. Maybe you have some other like aspects and of it. So I'm curious to know. I'm gonna continue eating this. I haven't even started eating this cake. It's saffron flavor. So I'm gonna do that and then go home because it's getting a bit chilly. Okay, see you in the next one. Bye!